Today I am trying a new beer. It is an imperial stout, 50/50 Brewing Company. Let's try it. Everyone has their price. For some, it's measured in dollars. For others, it's measured in powder days. What the fuck does that mean? Is that like a snowboarder reference? Because I wouldn't fucking know. For those that have the gift of passion for the dark side, it's measured in pints of Totality Imperial Stout. Dark brown to black in color and nearly opaque, Totality has a velvet-like mouthfeel. Moderate hints of dark dried fruit, espresso beans, and dark chocolate, with just a hint of hop bitterness, striking the perfect balance. Welcome to the dark side, friends. I've been avoiding the videos. You know, they show up on your feed. A lot of the people I follow have been censored or shadow banned. So I actually don't see much of what they post anymore. But some people's stories get through because we talk, and so they'll post something and I'll see it, and I try not to watch those videos, or I have in the past, but today I watched a couple. I watched a video where a man was digging in rubble, calling out the names of his children. I watched a video where some people are running away from rubble, a dust cloud, carrying in their arms a young boy. His foot is dangling. It's nearly been cut off, his leg. It's dangling by like a thread or something. The gore is a lot. There's a body in the street, in the rubble that they're running past as they bring this injured boy to safety. As far as I know, all these videos come from Gaza. I follow a journalist named Basan. She posts regularly on Instagram. She's still alive. A few days ago, she alerted her followers that she had spent 3 hours looking for water. Another day, she alerted us that 1,500 people had been killed in that day, or in some kind of time span. The numbers feel like details that get lost and disputed, but the numbers are still pretty fucking astounding, even if you want to contest them. I went to a folk punk show in Oakland the other night. It was pretty down because the night before that, a refugee camp in Gaza had been bombed. People died, and it kind of felt like a sense of helplessness. Like, how can you stop a genocide that is happening before your eyes. And the lead singer of the folk punk band, she's from Olympia, Washington, and she spoke about how during the invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan, protesters in their port area of Washington blocked a ship from being loaded with military equipment headed to the Middle East to kill civilians. And this was a sense of pride to them, that the place that I'm from has this activist history where we stand up and we lie down in the middle of the road to prevent these weapons from being loaded on these ships. I clapped and shouted along with everyone else. At the same time, the sense of despair continued because I asked myself, or rather I thought, but we still killed people in Iraq. We still killed people in Afghanistan, my country. The taxes I pay to the government funded these killings of people, this occupation, these battles that are in a way fundamentally racist and imperialist in ways that I'm not educated enough to go into detail about, besides being able to express them with my feelings and emotions. And those killings continued. The weapons got to where they needed to go. The protesters were not successful in stopping the weapons from reaching their destinations. And so I thought in my head, as the lead singer told us these things at this folk punk show, I thought to myself, well, what is the fucking point? If the protests that we can do don't do anything, what can we do? And, as you know, a few days later in Oakland, protesters did the same thing that the folk punk singer was talking about. They successfully, for about 8 hours or 9 hours, something like that, prevented a ship with a military vessel from heading to the Middle East with weapons. And eventually the ship did leave. And, you're processing this, like, as a person who's just like, yeah, like, I don't support war. I don't support this genocide. This is obviously terrible. It has to stop. And so you're hoping maybe this time it will work. Maybe this time the vessel will be prevented from reaching its destination. But it never does. It always continues. And there's this sense that even the act of protest is just clout chasing. It's a photo op for people with the correct opinions to demonstrate that they have the correct opinions. And there's a bit of ego in that I'm struggling to digest. And it's sort of the same thing that happened in 2020 with all the defund the police protests, and the reactions and the heartfelt rage people like myself and others felt about the murder of George Floyd. That in the end, it amounts to nothing. The status quo continues, war continues, violence continues, innocent people are killed. And there is this profound sense that at the very least, the nonviolent struggle that is ongoing here is ineffective. And it has been. You know, like, even back in Vietnam, there were people protesting that fucking war, and we still killed a bunch of fucking people there, right? Like, it's kind of just like, how many times do we have to go through this? How many times do we have to go to the streets and say we disagree? It just feels like this hell, you know, like we're just reliving the same torture over and over again. It's gotten really dark in here. I just realized that I'm looking at my camera. I guess not seeing my face is good for quite a few of you. I don't have a good face. I was known by boys in high school as a butterface. This was communicated to me very clearly. But I will subject you to my fucking face tonight, bitches. There's this sense in me, this battle between like, what is effective resistance? And there is a sense in me where I feel like some of my initial reaction to things is to post a lot on social media. But when I see other people posting a lot on social media, it fucking pisses me off. Because I feel like, well, you're not fucking doing anything. You are a person of means, more means than me, and yet all you're doing is talking about how you have the correct opinion about something. And I'm just like, who is this fucking content for? Because I already care. You're preaching to the fucking choir. So what is the point of reposting these videos of people dying when we already know that's what's happening? What is the point of going to the shipyard and preventing the ship from leaving when you know at the end of the day the cops are going to come, they're going to drag you off the boat, they're going to arrest some of you, and the boat will leave. And the goal of imperialism is still accomplished. And that's this thing that I'm working out in my head, that I'm struggling with, where I'm trying to, like, understand what it means. It's almost like a cognitive dissonance, but I don't think cognitive dissonance is the right phrase. It's not psychological, it's political. There's something else happening, and I don't have the educational background to describe it. But it has profoundly affected me. Let's just say that. And I was listening to a podcast recently, as one does when they commute to their fucking dumb job. And something that this person said really struck something with me that makes me feel like maybe I can sort this out. Maybe I can come to terms with what I'm experiencing. Not that my feelings are fucking important here. It's just like this sense of fucking helplessness. Like, I can't do anything to help. I can, like, scream and shake the bars but no one's coming. The cavalry is not here. All we have is each other, and it's becoming increasingly apparent to me that each other is not enough. That if they choose to annihilate us, if we get in their way, we are excusable as casualties of war. Our extinguished lives do not faze them, because to them, that's what you get for fighting back. And that's really rough for me. But anyways, as I was saying, there is this podcast I was listening to, as one does in this fucking country. And this person was quoting another person who maybe made a tweet who was quoting another person. So I actually don't know the origin of this particular concept, but it resonated with me, and that's why I will repeat it here without citation. The idea is that you recognize, as a Westerner, as a person with privilege living in this fucking country, that the things that you are capable of doing, the protest that you can make, these civil demonstrations, the posts on social media, the videos that you retweet of the violence, of the genocide, none of it is enough. It's ineffective. It's ineffective. But it's important to recognize the fact that it's ineffective, and it's important to recognize that it's useless, it's futile. There's nothing you can do that can change anything. But you do it anyway. The important part is that not just that you recognize it, but that you do it, that you keep doing it, even though it's ineffective, even though it's useless, and it's not saving anyone's life. You keep doing it because it's all you can do. And there's something about that sentiment that it's not enough but do it anyway that speaks to me a lot. And I'm still struggling with it, but in a way it is a mental anecdote. It's an antidote that gets me through these feelings of helpless despair and the feeling that there is nothing I can do to help anyone, and that nothing matters because the genocide continues, and I am just one person. And you do it anyway because it's all you can do. And there's a part of that I think fundamentally the core of this sentiment is about human dignity, in the sense that, you know, we're all born here and we're all gonna die here, and everything we do here is sort of just trying to make stuff better for the next generation. In a way, that's kind of like what's happening. And trying to at least experience some joy and pleasure along the way, because, you know, I don't know, that's just my personal opinion. There has to be a little bit of joy involved. Otherwise, you should just die. But the reason to keep living is to make stuff better. Right? For everyone. Not just yourself. And it's this dignity of like human life that is sacred to me, and that, like, it's almost like the useless acts of protest are like a prayer to say, like, you know, like, I didn't give up. Like, it's like, I will not give up on the people who come after me. Like, even if nothing I do matters, my feelings will resonate on. The feeling of resistance matters. And, the rage and the sense of justice, these are things that have to be passed along. And even useless acts that have, that are done with the knowledge that they will fail, like trying to, you know, stop a boat full of weapons from leaving a port. Like, even if you know it's going to fail, you have to try to do it anyway, because people have to know that rage existed in that moment. Like, people have to know that people disagreed. You have to be able to pass that knowledge on, even if you can't affect change at the moment. There's something about the dignity of the action which gets held and passed forward. And I don't know if I'm describing it correctly, but that's what it means to me. Yeah, anyway. This beer is pretty good. I'm worried that my girlfriend is gonna be annoyed that I drink it all. But it's okay. I'll just, I'll buy them more. You know? Thank you for listening to me rant. And for anyone who is watching, of like my fucking 30 followers who think that it's funny and cool that I pretend to review beverages while talking about my feelings. I don't know. I'm gonna continue drinking this beer.